Okay, hello, Phil. Welcome to France.
Thank you very much.
I have just seen you dancing in the final battle, and as I told you already, it was really hard to decide who is the best guy or best dancer, because at this level, I think everybody is so great, and I'm very honored to ask you some questions to
Thank
know,
you very much.
for people to help to know you a bit better, and also to know how who you are and what led you to here to this point of your life. Are you okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
So, how was your own world, or what was your occupation before you get into dancing?
So for me, I'm 25 now. So actually before, dancing has basically been my full-time job for the last few years. And the only quote, real job I had, I used to work at Dairy Queen, which is like an ice cream store. So that was back in high school. So that was the one job I really had in high school. And then after high school, I went to university for about 1 semester. And during that semester, it was kind of a hard time for me because I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my life. Kind of what a lot of people go through in university. But I just loved dancing. I loved to break, and I knew that's something I love to do. And so I kind of put my hat in, decided there was one event, it was called Rebel BC won the LA Cypher, and I told myself if I won that event, then I'm gonna just put my hat in for dancing all in. I'm gonna do my best that I can.
Okay.
But if I lose, I'll take a step back and I'll still dance. Dancing is something I love to do, so I knew I was always gonna do it. But I told myself if I lost, then I would just go to school and do that and just dance for fun kind of thing. And so luckily I won that event, and so that was in 2017. And after I won that, I was like, okay, cool. I told myself I would do this, so I'm all in kind of thing.
Wow, so actually you already answered to my second question.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I wanted to ask you which happening called you to action in order to create your project. So
So that was definitely one of the big moments for me. But I knew for the longest time, dance was the one thing in high school or even growing up. I started around 2010. So from then on, I just always loved to do it. Even at school, in high school, I started in the later years, I would skip lunch, lunches, and then I would just go practice, when my friends were hanging out. Or I vividly remember times where I'm in class and I'll think of a new move. And so I'll ask the teacher if I could use the bathroom, and then I would go into the hallway and then try the move and then go back to class.
Oh, really motivated. Oh, wow. So, but when you were a child, were you already interested in dancing? Or?
Not when I was young.
Yeah.
I think I was always active, physically active. I played sports and stuff, nothing competitively, but I was always really active and a creative kid. I loved watching stuff like anime and superhero stuff, and I feel as a dancer now I do feel that way. So I never started dancing, but then around high school and a little bit before that, I started watching those movies Step Up and all those dance movies, and that piqued my interest. And then because of that, I started, and then I saw, for me, how I started is in Vancouver, the Vancouver Art Gallery. In front of it there were a local crew that was performing, and so I saw that, and then I was like, whoa, that's so cool, and then that's kind of how I started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the breakdance artistic or sporty for you? Which one is it?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. I think there's a lot of different answers, and everyone's gonna say something different. I think it's a mix of both. And for me personally, it's just a label. I don't really care what people call it. I think it's fantastic that, for example, it's going to the Olympics and it's being represented as a sport. I think that's a great thing, because for me as a dancer, it means more people will see it. It means more opportunity, and for me too, I just want more people to do it because I love it so much, and I think it's a fantastic thing to be doing. It's really fun when you're able to do it, and so if there are more kids that get involved, if we call it a sport for that to happen, it doesn't really matter to me. For myself, I see myself as an artist and an athlete, because I think this is extremely athletic, it's extremely difficult and demanding, and we're putting hours in every single day. But also it's artistic, because it's important for you to have your own style and to express yourself and express how you want to dance and how you want to approach it. So it's kind of a mix of both.
Okay. So what was the stake, the challenges, the most important ones?
For me to get here?
Yes.
Yeah, I think with anybody who tries to become a dancer, specifically breaking, I think now it's getting bigger, which is fantastic. But even when I started, and I started quite late, but even when I started in 2010, 2009, 2010, it was there was no foreseeable really future for it. You couldn't make a sustainable income. And even now, the money, I'm every single month it's different, you know, so it's not like going to get like a regular job, quote unquote, and like getting a salary and stuff. I think the financial difficulty is one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest things that like was rough for me. And also just growing up, my parents were very supportive now, especially, but in the beginning they worried about me because like I wanted to dance full time and they didn't see a foreseeable future for that. And I totally understand as well. You know, my parents like immigrated from Korea to give us a good life, and like I was like, I want to be a dancer, you know. So like for them I could understand that it was hard, but I think like that was a challenge for me, just to have that in the back of my mind, like and I always question like, is this the right thing, like should I just go to school, get a job? And every single day for a long time I questioned that. So that was really difficult for me. And then even now it's just the daily, like it is hard. As much as I love it, I think no matter how much you love something, it can be difficult, and like to show up every day and to put in the work, very demanding on the body, like physically and mentally. And like I think I sacrificed a lot in terms of like social gatherings and like hanging out with friends, because I gave up a lot of that to practice every day. So yeah, there were a lot of sacrifices here and there, but for me obviously like the rewards outweigh the sacrifices. Like there's so much I love about it, but there was definitely a few difficult things along the way.
Okay, good, wow. And tell me about maybe your inner demons or difficult moments you had on this way, and how did you overcome everything?
Yeah, I think for me, again, a lot of it was like just questioning myself. I've never been a super confident person, and so like I constantly questioned if I'm good enough to do this, if I should be doing this, like am I training hard enough? Like every single day, like I'm asking myself these questions, and I think like self-confidence was a big thing. A lot of times when I competed for a long time, I lost to myself because I would get super nervous. I would get in my head and be like, you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be here. Like, so it was a lot of like imposter syndrome. I had really bad imposter syndrome. And so that was something that took me a long time to overcome. Honestly, for me, it kind of just happened naturally. I think as I practiced more, as I met more people, it just kind of happened naturally that I got more confident in my abilities. And honestly, like the external validation was nice as well. Like people being like, you're good, and I started winning, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this, maybe I'm good at this. But also just coming to terms with, again, because this is an art and it's like expressing yourself, like as cheesy as it sounds, not doing it for other people, but when I started dancing more for myself and just like doing what I wanted to do, I think I had more fun, and because I had more fun, other people also enjoyed it more, and it also just made me better because I was actually fully representing myself. And so that's something I just kind of remind myself as I move forward.
Wow, great. And the last question is almost last question. When did you feel the success for the first time, and are you satisfied today?
Yeah, I don't know when I felt success for the first time. Success is such a weird word to me because like even now, I don't know if I consider myself like successful or anything. I can recall like one of the more recent times was the Red Bull BC1 final that just happened in Poland like in November. So just this past year, I actually lost in the finals, but there was a moment of like just pure joy because that's like one of the first events that I saw like on YouTube that kind of got me into this. And so when I made it that far at the event, like I didn't really care that I lost. It was more just like, oh, I'm here. This is amazing. Like I'm surrounded by people who appreciate this. Like, and I felt really good that day. Like I felt that I did like one of my best performances, and so I felt extremely satisfied. I knew in the finals that I lost. I felt that I lost, and the performance in the finals wasn't like the previous rounds, but for me I was just really happy. And I think to the second part of your question, like yeah, I'm totally satisfied. I'm happy where I'm at now. I think satisfied is not necessarily the case because like I want more. Like but I'm very happy in my life right now. Like I get to do what I love. I have really good friends like from all over the world. It is difficult at times, but like I love what I do and I'm very happy.
Good. And do you really realize that you're the second worldwide champion of breakdance?
Yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, like I don't really think about it like that because I think breaking, again, because it's kind of like an artistic thing too. Even though like I might win competitions and stuff, I don't think it necessarily means I'm better than someone because like everyone's just expressing themselves and everyone expresses differently. Honestly, I think I just kind of got lucky that like the way I dance, people like it and it's winning now. I think just like anything, breaking goes through trends and like it just happens that I can win now. But yeah, I don't really think about that honestly. Like even coming into this event, I kind of forget what I've done before. So like I think like even BC1, I made second place. That was last year. It's a new year, so I just kind of like reset my mind, starting from
You're
the beginning.
so humble.
No, that's just like, and it keeps me on my toes too. It keeps me like I have to
Yes.
keep training. I have to keep
I
training.
understand that.
And then like obviously battling with the people that I battle with today, like Shiget kicks 1, BC1, stuff like that. Like I get to battle with these guys. That's awesome. Like I'm having a good time.
Great. Thank you. So the very last question is what is the link you feel with Korea, and if you can tell us something
Yeah, of
about
course.
that.
My background is like I was born and raised in Canada, but my parents immigrated from Korea, and so for a long time, honestly, I just felt Canadian. Like I felt like because I was born and raised here, I speak primarily English. My roots were more associated with Canada, but I think more in the last few years, I've come to appreciate a lot more my Korean culture, and also just like I have a lot of friends in Korea now, and my other crew, 7 Commandos, is based in Korea, and growing up, a lot of the dancers that I really look up to were Korean that are in my crew now, like Wing, Hong Ten, Skim, like those guys, I really looked up to them, and I can call them crew now, which is like still blows my mind. But for me, a really big connection is like my parents worked super hard, and it's kind of like any sort of immigrant story, but my parents worked really hard and they sacrificed a lot, and they moved to Canada to provide us a future, and they gave me a really good opportunity in Canada to develop and grow. But now I kind of look to Korea as like, that is my home. That is my... And whenever I go to Korea, it feels like a second home. Like to me, honestly, Canada is my like home, but then Korea feels like a second home because I have that connection.
Yeah.
The rest of my family is over there. I have friends over there now, and so I'm kind of trying my best to like learn Korean now in my adult life. It's something I neglected a lot when I was younger, and I feel that connection more deeply now, and I'm trying to sort of cultivate that a little bit more.
Wow, great. I think Korean people are always proud of people like you in the world.
Thank you very
like
much.
us, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And also just like last note, like Korean food is the best. I think because I grew up with Korean
Let's
food.
say that.
Yeah, so like the Korean food, whenever I go, like even here, France, food is great. But
Yeah.
after a while, like I just need a good like kimchi jjigae or something
me
like
too.
classic, you know?
Oh.
So yeah, that's like one connection. I'm a big foodie,
Sure.
so that food connection has to be there.
Okay, tell us the truth. Do your parents cook good?
Yeah, my mom is an amazing cook. I love my
Okay.
mom's cooking. Yeah. So
I would never doubt that.
my dad is not. My dad is not a good cook, but he never cooks. It's
Sorry,
like,
Dad.
Yeah.
Sorry for
actually, he's
that.
done it a few times, and it's pretty good. It's not bad, but definitely my mom's a great cook, and I love her cooking. And I'm always happy when I'm able to go home and like she cooks. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like,
Okay, so we have to make battles among all the Korean moms.
oh yeah,
Who
a
cooks
super
the best?
competition.
Because
that would be
my
a good
mom cooks
TV
best
show.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you very much for having
and,
me.
I wish you the best for the future.
Thank you very much.